Hello, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of The Classroom, starring myself, Double K. You know I bring it right here with the Doual, O'Malley, or Swab, depending on the week. So y'all tune in and listen to what this week's hottest debate topics are right here on Four Aces Presents. All right, y'all. Hello. Let me bring this mic up to my mouth and talk to y'all like a man. What's up, y'all? It is me, Double K, back once again for Four Aces Presents, or First Gen Xers Presents, The Classroom. This week with my homeboy, my brother from another mother. What's up, Doual? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, brother. Doing pretty good. So, today I brought Doual up to kind of finish up our roundabout talking about Super Bowl 58. So that's where we're going to start. Kansas City had a second comeback. This seemed to be a repeating pattern with them as far as winning Super Bowls. That either they get blown out, which they did by Tampa Bay, or they are down at half big and come back and get the victory. So
Right.
to
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say. So to you, what seems to be their secret sauce here? We're pulling this off once against the 49ers and now against the Eagles.
I mean, it's just the recipe for all great comebacks. It's, it's two things: adjustments and players that are willing and able to see the game all the way through. You know, and so through the course of the games, you make adjustments, and at halftime you make adjustments. In the fourth quarter, you're gonna continue to make adjustments. So it's all a game about who can adjust to the adjustments and adjust the best,
Yeah,
of course. And then you got players that are, willing to see the game out through all four quarters. You can be down by 20, 21, whatever the case may be, and still believe that you can execute and pull off a comeback. So uh, it's just adjustments and veteran players to execute a game plan that get them a victory.
and that I can agree with. It was in that particular aspect of things when it came to that game. Kansas City was just they made the right plays at the right times because like I said to Swab, that was a hell of a Super Bowl. Like there was nothing for me to mock the Eagles about per se, as much as it's just I'm not gonna lie, as a 49ers fan, they beat us fair and square, but it was nice watching them lose. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
so but it was funny because I actually wasn't gonna watch the Super Bowl initially, and I actually tuned back in, and the Eagles had just went up 14-7, and then they got the punt, and then
Mm,
that's when Butler or whatever that cat's name is, the linebacker, picked up the Jalen Hurts fumble. They ended up riding it in for a touchdown and tied up 14-14. I was like, oh, we got ourselves a little game
mm,
here then. Um,
right.
and so but the Eagles were a force to be reckoned with, like all season long. Can't deny them. Well, you can say easy schedule, whatever excuse you want to throw out there. They went out and got the job done every single week, and at the end of the day, if a couple of bounces, like Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble that ball, um, you know Kansas City isn't able to, the Eagles defense actually holds them. Like a couple of different things happening there, and we're talking about the Eagles as champs. So,
Right.
um,
Well, yeah,
but
like you said, they were forced to be reckoned with all season.
yeah,
I like their secondary. Secondary is very dangerous, and they got a front four to kind of complement that. So defense is real nice, and Jalen Hurts grew as a quarterback. And they have a one game to protect him and the receivers and make plays for him. And I signing what's my man from Tennessee? I forget the receiver. I forget they got nice receivers, and like I said, Jalen Hurts may
Oh,
get
AJ
definitely
Brown.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
AJ.
AJ
Yeah,
Brown and
in
Devontae
Tennessee.
Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I like Philly. I think they're going to be good next year. It's hard to call them being a Super Bowl team or a contender, but they'll definitely be good. I think.
Well, I'll say it like I said it to O'Malley last week. Look, I believe that the Eagles will be good next year, but it's going to be a different kind of good. And the reason why I say that is because they did lose this offseason coaching wise. Their they lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. And so
Right.
to me, losing both in the same season means that you might not be running the same systems this next year as you're running this year. You might see some turnover
Right.
in players because the players don't like the new system. You know, so I think on offense it's not going to change that much, or no, on defense it's not going to change that much because I believe Sirianni is a defensive coach. So,
Mm,
so the defense will pretty much stay the same. Whatever coordinator comes in is going to have to be running his defense anyway. Um, I think that, but I think on the offensive end, it's going to change. Like, and I don't know if they're going to
right.
depend upon Jalen Hurts' legs as much, or should they depend on Jalen Hurts' legs as much as they do? Because think about it like this: Jalen Hurts is one bad hit away from being Trey Lance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In that style. Now I don't really worry as much about a Justin Fields type because isn't he like 6'4", like 260, like he's huge.
Right.
You know, Jalen Hurts is a little bit smaller, so like I worry about it, like kind of like Trey Lance. Trey Lance is almost as tall, but he's a lot thinner. So like you know what I'm saying, I worry about them running the ball. Um, but they'll definitely look different. Will they be as good? Well, all the talent's still going to be there. They still going to have A.J. Brown. They still going to have Dallas Goddard. They still going to have Devontae Smith. Miles Sanders, there's a chance he may go someplace else. But who knows? If Philly's really smart, you know, they'll keep him there. Um, but yeah, like that this Super Bowl showed that the Eagles still have a lot left to give. But let's talk a little bit about Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City and what this means for that young man's legacy. In your mind, what does winning this Super Bowl do for his legacy? His second in his first 5 years as a starter.
So I mean, definitely to mention is one of the best um, quarterbacks in the game. And one of the best quarterbacks to come out in the draft. He was ready. He sat down at 1 year behind Alex Smith and then really came in and started tearing it up. So he's a game changer. He is the evolution of the quarterback position and the prototype. A guy who can read defense, complete passes, short, medium, long, and make plays for you with the speed, whether it's extending the clock or getting you a first down. And he's very, very smart with his decision making, what he does with football. So he's definitely, if not the best quarterback in the league right now. I don't see anyone who's better, honestly. And so it, winning the Super Bowl makes him one of the best. You say the same thing for Tom Brady. In his years when he did it with Tampa Bay. I mean, not Tampa Bay, but New England. Everybody had their questions and their doubts and so on and so forth, placing Drew Bledsoe and everything else like that. But he stepped right in and delivered, and instantly made him cemented him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the same thing with Peyton Manning. Not so much. He was always good, but it wasn't until winning that Super Bowl that you really identified him as great. You know, so yeah, I like Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, I think he's the best one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I really don't see anybody better. There's some guys who come close, but like I said, he's a man right now. He is that guy.
So, and I think for 100% sure that's where we're at. Like at this point in time, there is nobody. There's nobody in professional football that's playing better football than him. And here's the angle that I'll come at it from, that that you've probably seen a couple people do it before, but this is the angle that I come at it from. He lost what could possibly be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in all of football, in Tyreek Hill. Okay, at minimum,
Right.
he's the top three fastest wide receiver in football. He could explode the top off a defense. And not only did he lose him, but he made a guy who pretty much, if Kansas City hadn't picked him up, this is where I'll agree with who was it, the dude from the Eagles that was talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. And he was talking about on Twitter, and he was telling them, like, bro, you might have been on your way out the league if Patrick Mahomes had resurrected your career. Now, I don't necessarily agree with resurrected, but like, he had shown with Big Ben a couple of years that he had flashes of being a good receiver, but he just solidified himself as one by playing with Patrick Mahomes and being the sure hands that Mahomes needed at times, And then of course Mahomes still had Travis Kelce, but he took guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, and I forgot the other name of the guy that they signed later on in the season, and Jerick McKinnon. Like, Jerick McKinnon was a 49er 4 years ago who couldn't stay healthy, and here he is winning 2 Super Bowls with the damn Chiefs. And I want to say that Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys that's kind of the epitome of making your teammates better.
Right.
Like he, to me, he truly is. Like, he elevates the game of all those around him, and
Well,
so
having Andy Reid behind him doesn't hurt at all.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
what I'm saying? It's like having Bill Belichick really elevated and helped Tom Brady. Could Tom Brady have done it anywhere else? In another system for another team, would he have won another 5, 6 Super Bowls? Could Patrick Mahomes do it without Andy Reid? Would he
I
be
don't
as
know.
effective on another team elsewhere?
I genuinely don't know.
I think he'd be just as good, but I don't know if he'd be at the level winning Super Bowl and something, because Andy Reid, he's put in the work himself, and it's been years coming for him. So I think he'd be just as good, but I don't know if he'd be winning his second Super Bowl. Like, say,
I don't know if his success level would be this high without Andy Reid. Like, I
right,
definitely think
right,
it's the combination of Reid and Mahomes that makes the Chiefs as good as they are.
right. Like Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson for
Yep.
so many years.
Oh my God! And did that experiment in Denver prove that? Like Russell Wilson is not the same quarterback without Pete Carroll.
Not the same quarterback. Right.
So
And again, so yeah, and that's the system that he came up in. That he pretty much grew up in. So to change the entire, that's like speaking English, all your life, and then moving to China. Just one day, all of a sudden, pack everything up and just go to China. Now you gotta relearn everything at a whole new level in a whole new different way. So it's really going to be challenging for you, just not only as a quarterback, but just as a person, to go through all them changes, welcomed, or embraced as they may have been. I mean, you look at what Peyton Manning did when he left from Indianapolis and went to Denver, right? Okay, so you had a guy in Indianapolis who pretty much created his own system, right? So he knows how he wants to play. He knows what he wants his receivers to do, so on and so forth. Russell Wilson came to that Seattle team and into that system, and that's where he learned how to be great at the quarterback position. Not that he wasn't a great quarterback just, in general, but it was more so the system designed for him as opposed to him designing the system itself. Because, Peyton Manning went to Denver doing the same exact things on another boat. You just had to put the personnel around him. So, yeah, it's a lot with that combination, that connection between coach and quarterback, in the NFL.
all right, so that's going to do it for our first half of the show. We're going to listen to some commercials here, right? Advertising our Live 365 station, and I'll be back with Doual to talk about what it means for LeBron James to become the all-time scoring champ, and also the Lakers' big win today, their much-needed win over the Warriors this afternoon. So keep listening in for First Gen Xers Presents The Classroom right here on Spreaker. Peace. Hey guys, it's Double KK Double here. I'm here to bring you the new weekly schedule, Monday through Friday, for this wonderful network, the new rebranded First Gen Xers Radio Network. Hope you guys have been enjoying classic episodes from the Four Aces Presents Radio Network, which turned into First Gen Xers. We still have some of the same great shows, but this time it's just with a more gamer type twist. Now, let's get to the classic episodes Monday through Friday right here on Four Aces, or First Gen Xers Radio. Sorry, I got that wrong. West Coast Bias opens us up at 12:30 in the morning with new episodes Monday through Friday, or new classic episodes Monday through Friday. We follow that up now with Now versus Then classic episodes at 3 a.m. At 6:30 a.m., we follow that up with Double K's Classroom, a half hour of sports magic for you. New daily there. And then a classic episode of KD5P, the same show that you can hear here every week on Saturday nights at 8. And then that's at 7:15 a.m. At 9:45 a.m., we then move on to NVT Deuce Classic. And that precedes the 1 o'clock Cheap Pop Podcast Revisited episode Monday through Friday. And then we have West Coast Bias Revisited. It's the replay of the morning episode, 3 a.m. morning episode at 3:30 p.m. A replay of the 7:15 a.m. KD5P at 5:45 p.m. A replay of the Now versus Then Classic from 3 a.m. at 8:15 a.m. And we close the day with another strong episode of Double K's Classroom at 11:30. So I hope you guys continue to listen in, tune in, and see what's coming, because we got a lot more going right here on the First Gen Xers Radio Network. Peace. And I'm back. This time I'm here to bring you the Saturday lineup for right here on First Gen Xers Radio Network. Again, thank you for listening in. The Saturday lineup opens up at 12:30 a.m. with Brick House, then followed up by 2:45 a.m. with Reality Radio Classic. We then move on to 5:30 a.m. where we see Ms. Optimism bring one of her classic episodes right here to First Gen Xers Radio Network. 8 a.m. sees the Sidebar return with a classic episode every Saturday. And 10:45 sees Dirty Talk 101 with that girl Essie. 1:15 on Saturdays sees Mr. Deacon's Experience get revisited, classic episodes of Mr. Deacon Experience. And then 4 p.m. sees the Raw Impact Unleashed, Raw Impact Unleashed on Saturday and Sunday. And then at 6:30 p.m. we have a 1-hour condensed episode of Dirty Talk 101. And then the last episode of the night would be me here live at 8 p.m. on Saturday with KD5P, a brand new episode every week. So be sure to tune into those episodes on Saturdays every week right here on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network. And next up, we will have the Sunday episodes. Peace. And last but not least, we do the Sunday lineup for First Gen Xers Radio. And it opens again, just like on Saturday, with Brick House 2.0 Classic. New episode from the Sunday episode. Reality Radio checks in at 2:45 a.m. And then we go to Ms. Optimism Classic at 5:30 a.m. Followed by the Sidebar again at 8 a.m. Dirty Talk 101 at 10:45 with Essie and the girls. And then we have the Mr. Deacon Experience at 1:15, followed by a live edition of The Classroom featuring either Double K, O'Malley, Suave, the Doual, or or some combination thereof, debating the hottest topics in sports today. Then we'll have at 4:20, 4:20, the new episode of Raw Impact Revisited. Then you have Dirty Talk 101, a replay episode from earlier in the day from the 10:45 episode, AM episode, and then Mr. Deacon Revisited, which is a replay at 8:30, which is a replay of the 115 episode of Mr. Deacon on Sundays. Then we get back to Mondays. So I want to thank you guys real quick and tell you that you can also find us at the First Gen Xers Facebook page. You can also find us at First Gen Xers on Twitter, and you can always also find us at First Gen Xers, the fan page on Facebook. You can find me personally at Double KK Double on YouTube, Double KK Double on Twitter, or the Double KK Double Network Facebook page. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening in. On to the next episode. Peace. All right, and we're back, y'all. So we're going to open up this second half by getting back to a little round ball, our resident coach here. Man, LeBron James, easily one of the all-time greats. Most people have him 1, 2, or 3. Anybody that has him lower than that, I don't necessarily agree, but I have this different way of looking at it now, where that's your list, and if that's where you want to place LeBron James, for whatever reason you have for placing him there, I respect it. I move on. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, got the all-time scoring record. For some, this was a GOAT-defining moment, what to call it. Some would say back in 2016 when they beat the Warriors, GOAT-defining moment. I will say again, as I said last week, for me, it changes nothing. And I'll lay it out for Doual the same way I laid it out for O'Malley. In order to surpass who's number one on my list, you got to do more than what he did in less time, or at least the same amount of time. So basically, to put it bluntly, once LeBron passed year 15 and still hadn't quite matched up to Jordan's resume, didn't matter what he did after that. There was no moving up to number one. But he's a healthy number 2. So Doual, did him capturing the record from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar change anything for you or do anything for you as far as who is atop your list as the best basketball player you've ever seen?
No. I mean, for me, it's more of a tribute, more of an accomplishment, another, trophy. It doesn't change, like where I rank him in terms of, basketball goatness, if you will, hierarchy, or whatever the case may be. He's up there. He's definitely in my top 5. I haven't really thought of a whole entire list. I can just throw some names out at you, but so I don't really have a 1 through 5, 1 through 10. But I would say he'd be one of the top 5 names I threw out there. So that's automatic. So for me, like I said, it's more of a tribute. I would say at best. It's not necessarily something that's going to, change the way you would perceive him, or, his longevity has been as such as people have their own opinions about it, good, bad, or otherwise. So, but for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, breaking that record, not only has it been a long time coming, but, for a guy like LeBron, it's almost to be expected, and then also as a tribute to how great he is, you can't just talk about him being the all-time leading scorer or whatever without you, but you also have to talk about, where he sits in terms of rebounds and assists in the overall complete game. And those numbers are pretty good too. So again, sure. It's not a game changer or a person changer or a number changer, but definitely a tribute and an accomplishment to his career and the longevity of his career and what he was able to do and accomplish in that career.
For sure. The man's played 20 years. You don't downplay that. There's only been a few people that have played that long in league history. So you definitely don't
As
downplay.
effectively,
Yeah, exactly,
as
as
effectively.
effectively. Now, here's the only issue that I have with the issue that I have with some of his fans and them bragging about the numbers he's putting up in year 20. They're almost in, they have 18, 17 games left after today's game. So that means 65 games into the season. I want to say LeBron James has played 47.
Right.
When you're at the skill level that he's at, I can if you're playing a 40 game season, it's like I hate to say it like this because I don't want to diminish anything that he's done because it is an amazing feat, but we have to put certain things into perspective. This is 30 points a
Mm-hmm.
game, 11 what 10 9 10 some odd rebounds, 7 8 assists a game over 47 games. And I just think that level of perspective from the sense that when you play a shorter number of games, it's a little bit. I won't want to say easier because nothing in the NBA comes easy, but for lack of a better word, it's easier to put up higher numbers because you're playing less games. Is a dude that only
Look,
played
look,
20 games in a season but averaged 30 points a game the same as a dude who played 75 and averaged 29? Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. No, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying. I feel you.
yeah,
It's less
so,
work on the body, less wear and tear,
yeah,
and it's definitely an extension, you know. But looking at it not only from, well, mainly from
yeah,
a management perspective,
yeah,
but also a coaching perspective, when you look at the product that you're putting on the floor,
yeah,
when you look at, what I'm saying, the pieces that you have around him, and how basically they played, and like I said, I'm not putting blame or anything else on them, but effectively as a team, like you said, you only have Bron there for 30, 40 games, but at the same time, what's the point? You're at the bottom of the division, right? You don't have the talent to compete. When you've got Anthony Davis, that's huge. Whenever he's there, you know, so he's in and out the line. You're right, when he's actually healthy, that hasn't been for the last year and a half, you know. So him being at this age, and you look at, you know, today's modern medicine and the evolution of the athlete with longevity in which they're able to play the game and so on and so forth. Bron, even looking at him playing, probably still has maybe another 2 or 3 good years left in the tank. I don't want to go as far as 5. You know what I'm saying? But maybe another 2 or 3 good ones. So if we can preserve whatever is left, in that body to continue to get that maximum performance, well then, all right. Well, this season is already done. We're not climbing out the hole this year, and even if we do climb up to the playing game, it's almost still kind of what's the point? The West is completely stacked. So the Lakers have been playing for next year for quite some time now, right?
right.
So let's go ahead. Bron's got the record. Let's go ahead, let him get that, enjoy that, celebrate that. We're just about sure he's going to be back next year. So let's preserve what he's got left into next year,
Yeah,
and hopefully continue to get this maximum performance in next year. We're going to do a better job of doing our basketball homework and putting the personnel around him that not only makes him successful, but helps him make us as a team successful. Because he's a team first guy, pass first, you know what I'm saying? So on and look to his teammates to get everybody involved in the game, so on and so forth. That's his MO. So let's go ahead and help that. Let's not put 25 to 30 points a game on his shoulders. Let's see if we can sit him at 18 to 20 which is he and as the expectation, and he'll still give us 22, 24. And then, we can spread that out to, instead of 6, 7, we can spread that out to 8 or 9 assists, which he's very much capable of doing,
Hmm.
you know. But again, it's the personnel around him. Who are you going to put around him in the right places, in the right spots, that that only he can elevate their game, but they can help continue to keep him playing at a high level
Right.
and then produce wins, you know.
Yeah.
So
Now let's
they're
touch
pretty
on
much.
that a little bit. Like you just said, Lakers at this point they've climbed themselves out of the bottom, and they are now sitting in the 11th spot, a half game behind New Orleans. Now, for in the Lakers' favor, there's only 3 games that separates them between where they at in the 5 spot, and there's only 4 games that or 6 games that separate, or 5 games that separate them from where they're at in the 4th spot, which is Phoenix. I really don't see them catching Sacramento, Memphis, or Denver. Um, they made some changes at the All Star break. Brought in D'Angelo Russell, who's injured right now. Brought in Rui Hachimura, and moved out some guys like Russell Westbrook and I believe Pat Bev as well. So 17 games left. You just said like that even if they make the play in. So you think even if they make the play in and they actually make the playoffs, there's odds are that they're not going to do anything as far as making noise. So you don't see them even with a fully healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell being able to make a move out of the first round.
It's not enough time. Like the playoffs are a completely different animal. So in order to be
I agree.
successful in the playoffs, you have to have a team playing at a not only at a high level, but have a high chemistry level amongst them. Guys can almost just read and react and know where each other's going to be. That takes time. That takes the evolution of an entire season. You're not going to capture the level of chemistry and togetherness on the court that it takes to be successful in the playoffs. Because you got guys, like I said, like you said, 1 through 4, who've been playing like this all season long. So not only that, I'm saying, at their highest level, but they're at their highest chemistry level too. Everything is snapping, everything is clicking, because they've been doing it since November, since December, since January. They've been on these runs and these streaks where they get hot, and they know how to win games. Even if the Lakers get hot right now, it's March, right? March just started. They get hot right now, and I mean like super hot right now, and possibly and play their way up into a 5 seed. Not only do you not have home court advantage, but you still don't have the experience that these 1 through 4s have. These 1 through 4s have won 50, 60 games. Okay, you're not just gonna sneak in there winning 30 games after getting hot late. It's possible, but the odds are not likely against you. In order for them to develop that chemistry and that level, like Bron and Anthony Davis have to be completely healthy, and they can't miss a game for the rest of the season. You can't miss a game. And they have to play at an incredibly high level, a level so high that they elevate the guys around them. It's possible. Hachimura, you don't know nothing about the guy. He was good in college. He was okay, serviceable. D'Angelo Russell, it's the second trip around after, 2 other teams. So you really don't know what you're getting. He's already hurt. You don't know what you got, what's going on. So in order for all of that to really come together and be running like a fine-tuned machine, they would all have to, again, Anthony Davis and LeBron James have to get hot right now, can't miss another game, and then they have to be rolling, offense and defense, really playing at another level from here on out. Like today, okay, they beat Golden State today. You have to continue to build on that momentum. You have to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row before you take another L.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even that L is going to be costly. Everything from this point on in the season, especially in the West, as tight and as stacked as it is, it's costly. Every win is costly. Every loss is costly. All of it.
Yep.
So and you're not just gonna flip on the light switch unless you're one of these veteran teams who have been together, right, for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years and competed for 2 or 3 different championships and have been through the playoffs and have been through the fire like that. Not just gonna be able to just turn it on like a light switch. And the Lakers right now are a collection of 2 superstars. One older, so you have to, kind of preserve what's in the tank, and one is often injured, in and out the lineup, and then role players who are still really trying to figure out the NBA itself, and what their role is, how to play it, how to be successful at this level. They're young, don't get me wrong, but being young with that also takes a lot of learning. The learning curve is very high, and it's even higher at this point. So, can they do it? Yeah, they could get to the play-in. That's possible. Even with Bron, I think Bron's pride and his ego alone, won't just allow this team to just completely tank. So they could get to a play-in. They get hot. They may even get through the play-in. But getting in as an 8 seed against the 1, or even that 7 seed against that 2, okay, well, I mean, hey, if you up for the challenge, let's do it. But not many teams and not many people are
Very
up
true.
to climb Mount Everest. That's Mount Everest you about to climb. This is the West.
And also,
this is not just a regular West. You feel me? This is not just a regular West. This is a West that is geared to compete with a Golden State Warriors team that is supposed to be playing at a supreme level right now. And they're not.
yeah.
So what does that tell you?
So they have what? 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, that's 6, 7, 8. They have 10 games of those 18 are left at home, right? Where they have a much better record at home than they do on the road. Okay, at home, man, there we go. At home, the Lakers are 16-15, and away they are 15-19. So they definitely, just like the Warriors, have to cure that road bug if they're going to do any kind of damage come playoff time. But for right now, there's hope. Right, dude? There's hope.
Mm-hmm. There's always hope.
There's
hope, and then there's the truth. There's hope, and then there's the truth. Now, how much of those two are intersecting?
Very true. Very true.
When hope intersects with the truth, then you have faith that can be brought into reality. But when hope and truth aren't intersecting with each other, then you have a problem. So figure it out.
Amen. Figure it out. I'm saying the same thing to my Warriors. Y'all need to figure this shit out. Put it together.
Yeah.
Y'all got like 15, 16, or actually 18, 17 games, just like the Lakers. Y'all got 17 games left. Figure it out. Like, let's get it. So, all right. So on that note, we're gonna go on ahead and call it a show. Doobie, of course, as always, thank you for joining me. Doobie will be back in a few weeks. Next week, I should have, waiting for confirmation, Mr. Suave to talk a little NBA postseason, some MLB spring training, and we'll see what else pops up. Hottest topics in sports. Dude, you got any last words for him?
Nice people.
And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.